Welcome to the Don Pod, the supporters podcast. Here's your hosts, Sam and Nate.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
The Dons defensive disaster class at the MCG. Essendon at 15-10-100, defeated by the Adelaide Crows, 25-11, 161. The largest score Essendon has conceded at the MCG since round 19, 2011. Welcome back to the Don Pod. Joined by Nathan. Welcome. Yeah. Yeah.
It's weekends like this, Sam, that I wish I was one of those people that would, get to work on a Monday and someone tells you, what were the scores? Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch the football. Yeah, I don't really follow footy.
I attended, if you can't tell by the glorious
Sunburn
there. I said to Dan, I think through the second quarter, why is this my passion?
Oh.
Why did it have to be this? Why couldn't I have been into cars or
Formula
or just
One?
Something else? Like
Golf.
The Formula One broke my heart last week too. But
Golf would be nice on a Saturday, surely. You get angry, frustrated with yourself hitting a few bad balls, but, it's all on you.
Well, when you're as good as I am at golf, I don't get frustrated because I know I'm terrible, so it's okay.
Yeah, but it's all on you. You're not frustrated at something you have no control over.
Yeah. That probably is more the point. Look, not a fun day at the MCG, so reel through some numbers. We'll get into some chats. I think this is going to be an interesting one because I've changed some opinions of my own.
Ooh.
I think you have as well, judging by what I read from what you wrote earlier.
Yep.
So we'll rip into it. Look, let's just take a moment and separate Zach Merritt from everyone else.
We get 12 of them.
36 disposals, 6 clearances, 748 metres gained, or for those playing at home, 3/4 of a kilometre.
You love that one.
And he kicks 4 goals.
Oh.
I'm going to say, without researching, a career high 4.
Equal.
Equal career high, there you go.
I think.
I'll take it. So,
Yeah.
clear best on ground for us. Quite possibly best on ground in the game. He may get a Brownlow vote. It's hard in a 10-goal loss, but he was very good, as Zach is. The rest of them, Caldwell 27 touches, Sardis 25, a game-high 11 clearances, Merritt kicks 4, as I said, Edwards and Draper, kicked 3 each. Kako kicked 2, looked quite lively.
Yeah.
Martin, Gresham and Caldwell kick 1 apiece. Where do we begin?
Oh, look, can we just quickly jump to effort?
Effort? Well, I've got some stats to back that up, actually. It's probably a good way to go. So,
I love that.
Look, the team stats, minus 41 disposals, minus 15 inside 50s, minus 70 marks. That's the one I want to come back to. Minus 13 marks inside 50 and minus 12 in tackles. To be down in tackles when you've had less of the ball takes a real special effort. But the one I want to highlight there, and this was evident to me at the game of football, uncontested marks to Adelaide. Minus 63 uncontested marks, if my maths is correct. It wasn't difficult maths, so I certainly hope so. There were times where in the second quarter we looked knackered.
Yeah.
When Edwards kicked his first goal, they all got around him, but they all got there very slowly.
Yeah.
And it was a bit like, are we cooked? But that, I don't know if that led to, but the uncontested marks, they were just kick pass, like at will. We had nothing go.
Yep. Well, yeah.
Looked like you're about to say something.
Yeah. Go, sorry.
No, it looks like you're about to say something. You.
Oh, no, well, I think there were 2 issues in that thing you're talking about there, is that we tried to do that, but there's a couple we didn't have, as you're talking about, the physical ability to run and spread, which is effort.
And the skill issue of actually being able to hit a pass.
And the skill issue of the fact that we just kept giving it back to them all the time. Now, I have no problem with that as a strategy of how we're going to play footy, but I think what good coaches do is that they look at the club list and go, well, what's our strength? Oh, we're very good at kicking. All our guys kick so well. Okay, we'll make our team a kicking game. Well, we don't do that, so let's not make that our strategy, because none of our players kick well.
Seemingly. I think, you look at Hawthorn last week, particularly such a good kicking game. Adelaide. 55-metre passes. Adelaide. Adelaide I'm a little bit because we gave them that space. I feel like we gave it more to Adelaide to do rather than Hawthorn. Hawthorn were just too good in that regard, but
they still hit the target.
They still hit the targets, long passing. To back up your point there as well, of we kept giving the ball back to them. They scored 109 points from turnover.
That's the biggest red flag. You say to your team, okay, that is disgusting.
We're in control of that.
Yeah, we have the ball and we give it back to them so many times that they've scored 100 points from us.
They've beaten us on turnover
100
alone.
Points.
Oh, that must be a record. I really struggle to find the score source stats, but that's got to be some kind of record. It's the highest score as well at the MCG by an interstate side since 2013.
It's a flogging back in the sort of categories of what we were getting under Truck. Like when we talked, you and I had these conversations about effort. We'd talk about effort and go, surely that's the basics of what we you don't have to pay for effort. You don't have to have skill for effort. You just turn up and that's what you're expected to fucking give as an AFL football player. Effort, chase, run, get into position, tackle, hold a tackle. Yeah. None of that happened.
Yeah. And I think to the goal Rankin kicked, one of the goals of the year, and will be probably in the top 3, you'd suggest. Bit of buddy about it, running down the wing and dobbing it from the boundary. I fully believe Pidge was probably running as fast as he could. But is there a skill? I mean, not a skill speed, but as a broader conversation, are these players good enough? And I've got some. We'll talk about some more of that later on. I've got some numbers on individuals.
Yep. But
we touched on it a little bit last week as well. I think that I keep coming back to this top end talent conversation, and I just wonder, just a little part of me, and I know it's quite pessimistic. Just do we have a bit too much hope, a bit too many raps on guys?
Yep.
That just might not be there.
Well, this is the problem I have with every preseason.
Undefeated preseason, yeah.
Well, okay. This is so preseason before the games, if that's a thing. Preseason. Yeah. I was very pessimistic about our abilities. I was like, we are cooked. Yep. I was very cooked. And then we played good footy against a couple of practice games, and then Geelong in Geelong. I thought, well, maybe I've got it wrong. And I was reading, and you know what it is? It's these certain Twitter people that pump up the tyres of a couple of players. He's training the fucking house down. And I'm going to say it, Sardis. He is a spud. He can get the footy 57 times, but he butchers the fucking shit out of it every time. So what's the point of having him? We might as well. I prefer Parrish because I think he kicks it slightly better.
Well, to give you a stat,
but he's more broken down, Parrish.
To give you a stat to back that up, 25 disposals for Sada, 68% efficiency overall, not horrible, but 41.7 by foot. From 12 kicks, you're going at 41%.
There was that one in the fourth quarter, I think, where I don't know if you saw it, and he was running away down the middle, and he kicked this, and it was 10 metres off it and then hit an Adelaide player. And I'm like, mate, I cannot deal with that. The ball drop was wrong, the angle went wrong, and I went, you just can't play the game. Fuck off back to the VFL, and I don't care what happens to you. I don't care. You're not making it as a senior AFL. You are not playing 200 games of football.
Well, prerequisite for playing AFL football, I think you need to be able to kick. He has talent.
It is called football.
Football, yes. He has talent, and I don't want to. I know we're angry and we're upset. I'm gonna just rein you in ever so slightly there. That was good. Good content. I like it. But just to be the devil or the angel, whichever way you want to look at it. The devil's
advocate.
On your shoulder.
Yep.
Talent is there.
Yeah. The talent to get the balls there.
What I'm sick of is us getting these players and needing to fix something. Why can't we, and I know we didn't have an option, we took Sardis because Sheasel and Wardlaw went to North Melbourne. But why can't we just get one of these guys? There's not a lot need fixing. We just have to develop them. Because there's development, which every single player in the AFL needs at some point. Then there's fixing. Not everyone needs fixing.
Yep. Well, keep going.
For a number 5 draft pick, I would hope more often than not you're going to get a guy you can develop not fix.
Well, and I agree with that 100%. The talent is there to get the football, but the talent is not there to get rid of the football. And they're important parts of the game. And the thing that I find fascinating is that we keep getting guys from the draft, like Edwards played on the weekend, first game. He can kick a ball quite nicely.
He was
like Martin kicks a ball nicely, Durham kicks a ball nicely. These all weren't kids that went in the first round of the draft. Now they probably found their feet a bit later, but you would expect kids that go in the first round picks should be able to kick a ball really well.
Yeah. So you're saying
that skill of getting your hand down to the foot.
Yeah. Those guys you just mentioned weren't taken in the draft. That's what you're.
Yeah, that's what my point is. That these guys that don't even make the draft, you got more skill.
Yeah. To back that up again, I have the numbers for once in my life. Well, Durham, I went. You know what? He had way super high CBAs. What did you had? This for me? Where did I write it down? That's the question.
He was a leading CBA attendee.
Yeah. He had 21, I think it was.
With
I did put it in there. I swear.
Yeah.
There it is. 31.
Yep. Sorry. Yep.
Next best was Caldwell 27, which was just bizarre because he played forward for the preseason games, and we were kind of okay with that, as an option to roll through. He had 21 disposals, 5 kicks. And I'd venture a guess to say he's one of our better kicks in the side, and he's only getting 5. Are we getting this wrong? Are we set up wrong? Sardis can have 25 disposals and there can be 21 handballs. Fine, we can work with that.
Yep.
Durham gets 21 disposals and 17 of them are kicks. Great.
Yeah. Well,
it's giving the ball to the right player at the right time.
Yep.
And we suck at that. We suck at lots of things, to be fair.
Well, Durham, just on the Durham one, he went at 50%. He had 50% attended CBAs in the first round, and then he jumps to nearly 75%.
Jesus.
So,
after playing forward against Geelong and looking quite solid.
The concern I'm having, and this is back to that Redmond point we had in the first round, is that Redmond goes in there in that first round and does 20 or 30 whatever percent in the first, nearly 100% the first quarter, but all up for about 20, 30%. But we don't see him now in the second game. So that was just purely a strategy for that very first game in the first quarter. And I'm like, well, hang on, what is... Clubs don't do that. I'm sure good clubs don't just go... I'll tell you what we're going to do today, first round.
Yeah.
We're going to stick Red Dog in the midfield. See what happens there.
Your hand's just gone up in Zoom.
Interpreted my hand movement.
That's funny. I think the response to that would be for me...
But lower my hand.
Good clubs have it worked out.
Yeah.
Brisbane go in and go, right, well, we know our premium midfielders are Neil, Dunkley, McCluggage... Zorko can roll through there. We know pretty much what we're going to do. We know we're going to be ahead in most games we play. If we're behind, well, we can try this.
Yep.
We don't quite know that yet. I think we should know that Redmond's not a midfielder. I reckon that one should be pretty obvious. But
I agree.
I struggle, and I was sitting there coming home yesterday on the train going, how the fuck do we do a podcast about this? What do we say? Because we try to be fair, we try to be realistic, but I want to give it just a little bit of something, at least we can take this away from it.
We kicked 100 points.
We kicked 100 points, which, whatever, don't care.
How does that
happen? The one thing I might take from it was one moment, one highlight, and that was Kako beating 3 Crows defenders and kicking a goal.
Yep.
It's probably the loudest noise the crowd made all day.
Yep. Or when probably the louder noise when Sammy Draper turned sideways to have a set shot every time. What was that? The crowd, you watched, on television, from the television, it was fascinating because he'd be facing front on, and then he'd just go to the side, and the crowd would go, what?
And then he shushed us. He shushed his own supporters after kicking the first goal. Sammy, not good. You don't shush your own fans. I'm sorry. And then he did it from the top of the bleeding goal square, the muppet.
The second one was embarrassing. Look, the third one I was going, I don't think you can kick that far on a banana.
He kicked 3 straight. I missed the third one because I was in the last quarter.
The third one was about, I'm going to say, 35 to 40-ish plus out.
He made it.
And he flushed it. And I went, the commentators actually said, he could nearly kick 50 with the way he's going to do these things. I'm going,
look, if it works.
He didn't do that. He hasn't done that ever before.
Ever. Yeah. If it works, fine.
I've seen him kick bananas from shots, but not
from straight in front, 20 out. Yeah. Me neither. Look, it's as long as it's effective, whatever. I'm a little bit funny about you shushing your own supporters, but we'll survive.
Yeah.
Edwards was okay. Kicked his 3. He likes to hit the scoreboard. I mean, it was probably at times when there wasn't a lot of pressure on the game. We were way behind before he kicked it, but he still kicked 3.
I felt like he wasn't quite up to the standard of the game, but he took his opportunities. Like he's still, I think in a normal team he wouldn't be playing, but we're clearly searching for something.
We're a bit up the shit.
Which then goes to my frustration about why a guy like, I feel really frustrated for a guy like Hayes, who's like best VFL player last year, pretty good the year before that, and he's played another great game on the weekend, not getting picked, and you watch what's his name wander in and sort of get a game off a couple of practice games in a VFL game, and he was saying, "Yeah, you're in the team, mate." I'm like, "Well, why can't Hayes play?"
Well. I like to keep things segmented, but we're going to blend a bit of VFL into this. No. I think it's valid. So, I have issues in that I don't know if Reed's quite AFL yet.
He was horrible.
I really got frustrated, and he was copping it, and I'm just like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, "Oh, you're shit," because I don't think he's shit. But I'm just wondering if. Can he play VFL? Does he have to develop in the AFL? And I'm really careful because I love the man and I want him to be good. And it's a big tick that he's now gotten through 2 games uninjured. But let's look at Hayes' numbers.
Well, before you do that,
yes.
I want to just one thing about Reed is that I think the difference between Reed and other players that we might talk about is that he just didn't look strong enough in the contest. He made some horrible kicks too, but he flushes the ball. He just kicked it, didn't kick it hard enough. So
he was caught ball watching 3 or 4 times, lost his opponent completely. Which I made the point at the time. One of them down the punt right end, Mackay was running about 5 meters behind him, and it's like, did he say anything? Like, is there any leadership from Mackay just to yell? I don't
think Mackay does that.
Zach, get back! Like you stop ball watching. Just say something to go. Say, Reed. Oh fuck yeah, right, okay.
But the point I want to make is I think Reed's inabilities can be worked on. Like, they're things that just need more game, more experience. He needs a bigger body. He needs to hit a gym and pick up some things and put them back down. A lot.
More than once.
Yeah, go with Hayes.
Hey, so I've put their clear best on ground. I didn't see any of it, but Jesus Christ. 27 touches is a good game for a midfielder. 21 of them were kicks.
Yeah. And
he took 16 marks.
That's a lot of fantasy points.
16, yes. So I can actually look at what he would have got. I don't want to disrespect Zach Reed. I don't want to suggest he's shit and should never play AFL, whatever. But maybe there's a switcheroo there.
Oh, is it both of them though? Like I felt like in this game that was Reed and it was Mackay were our 2 tools, and they had a 3rd tool. Like, there was a couple of times when it was Redmond on Walker. Now, Redmond actually outmuscled him a few times. But I just felt like I would have preferred Hayes than, some other players, to be honest.
I would have preferred Hayes over Mackay.
Yeah, I would have preferred Hayes
I'm not
over
sure optically we can do that.
But I just think Hayes deserves a game. Like,
sure.
I just think he plays. Like, I don't give a... Like, drop freaking Shield. He's useless. Like, that halfback experiment is not working.
Done, yep.
Nearly, and I hate to think this and say it, but nearly Martin has to go back there and do what he was doing last year, because at least he could defend. And, I mean, Dylan Shield, that little... remember a couple of years ago when that Sydney player...
Parker, yep.
Yep, he's spot on. I'm sorry, he was spot on. Dylan Shield does not put his head over the ball.
Nah.
There was one moment we went back with the fly, and the commentators even said, I don't think that's Dylan's comfort zone.
Well, I mean, that's what we loved about Heppel, wasn't it? That he's a bit slow, wasn't always great, but he always put his body on the line. And again, that's
Kelly
effort.
did the same.
That's minimum. Yeah. We expect you to do that. You can't squib out because you're going to get hurt. It's just not part of the game.
No. If you've got to get respect of the team and the players and the supporters, you just got to sometimes hurt yourself. That's the game.
And if you commit, more often than not, you actually get back up.
Yeah.
You're more likely to hurt yourself if you pull out a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss some other thoughts and theories and next week in the VFL. Welcome back. We're struggling to get through this one. I think it's, unless we sit here and just talk shit about every single player on the field other than Merritt, not easy to get through. But
Well, I do have a question for you, Sam.
go for it.
Do you think the problem, and maybe we can either say yesterday's game or the long term, is system or is it players? And I don't want either. I want one or the other.
You don't want both, because that's exactly what I was about to say.
I know. Because I think that's the easy answer.
Well, I won't go 50-50. I'm going to give you 75-25.
Okay, good.
Right now, 75% system.
Yep.
In my humble list of opinions, 25% player. So you look at the good teams, they kick the ball well. We just talked about that.
Yep.
That's my issue. We're not doing that, and the 25% of it is we're not capable of doing that in a lot of instances. You look at how we get the ball out of the middle. I feel like our entries are so much shallower than our oppositions. Just makes it hard to keep the ball there. And this is where I struggle. I'm sure there's a plan. I'm sure internally they know we're not going to be great. We know we're not going to make finals.
Well, we know that now.
We know that now.
I think I would argue that there was some talk at before the first game. They were like, we could maybe sneak in.
I was hopeful, but that was me being optimistic for once in my goddamn life. This is what I get.
You're like you're optimistic.
But I guess I hope more than anything else that there's a plan. There's a structure to what we're doing. I can cop losing by 10 goals if there's a plan that in 3 or 4 years' time we're going to be a lot better because we've stuck to that plan. And that's why we have to trust the coach. We got no option as supporters.
Oh.
We just got no option. We have to.
I think that's a valid point. We have no option but to trust the coach. And the only thing in these things is hindsight.
Yes.
That is the
beautiful thing, wonderful thing.
But we got to the end of Truck and we went, nah, that was never going to work. We got to the end of Warsfeld and we go, nah, that was never going to work. During Herd, we were like, that could have worked.
I still wholeheartedly believe Herb was a great coach. I think anyway. Let's not get into that. I think
that's right.
What frustrates me from a coaching perspective is like the team changes. So we talked about this last week and debated whether or not, tall for tall, tall for small, whatever else. So we replaced Langford for Edwards. That was pretty clear cut.
Yep.
But against a team that has 3 very good tall players in Thilthorpe, Fogarty and Taylor Walker, we replaced Jordan Ridley with Jai Menzie.
Yeah. Who was a sub.
What?
He was the sub too, Menzie.
That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
No. And we put all the pressure then on Redmond and Pryor, who Pryor was
poopy. Before we move on to that,
I like that poopy.
You highlighted last week the Smalls for Hawthorn.
Yeah.
The Smalls this week kicked, from what I can work out, 17 of their 25 goals.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just complaining about the not replacing a tall defender with a tall defender. The 3 talls did still bother us, but nowhere near as much. I mean, Keys must circle that Essendon game and go, right, well, let's start my contract negotiations here.
Brownlow votes there.
And that's why I picked him in that our draft, by the way, because I should have made him captain. That would have been the ultimate play.
Good move. Yeah.
Rochelle capitalised on our skill errors like any small forward should and would. Like, of course. Just very good. But then, Saligo popped up with 2. Their number 30 was at Millera. Millera was everywhere as that sort of defensive midfielder, but still getting the ball quite a bit on half forward.
Yep.
I don't know. You just can't deal with it.
Oh, look, I agree 100%. And I think that guys like Dylan Shield is just a waste of space down there. He cannot defend, and at the moment he's not doing anything offensively. So he's not giving us running carry. He was meant to run and carry. We saw it in the practice games. This could work. Yeah, he's a good kick. Great speed. He can read the game. I haven't seen him do it in the first 2 games yet.
I'll tell you what a positive for me was, actually. Archie Roberts.
Yeah.
It was very good. I thought he had been mongrel. I can't remember what he did. He did one good thing when I went, oh, that was nice.
Yep, I gave him a vote actually because I really like the way he goes about it. He's got a little bit of snarky sort of little bit of something going on that I can work with. Yeah, well, something.
There was another thing I was about to mention. So you could take Dylan Shield out of that back six pretty comfortably because you've got Martin that can go back. We've already got that extra in Flogguts, Archie Roberts. So to me, if we were going to change that, Archie Roberts goes back as a pure defender. Give Redmond the license. That license that we want to give Shield, give it to Redmond. Because
he does it well.
Our frustrations with Redmond was always getting forward and not defending, but that is his strength. So if you can cover the defensive aspect, he will be a better defender than Shield.
Yep.
Kicks the ball well.
Does.
Can get on the scoreboard.
Can kick goals, yep.
And he's just more involved in the game. Yesterday, him and McGrath barely saw him.
Yeah.
The only time I noticed Redmond was when he was on Walker, because we were going, what?
Yeah. And that was a real concern for me. Like, I think we got away with it, but I don't want to see that. Like,
but they changed it pretty quickly, and when we changed it, we were better because there was that period in the second quarter where we came back a little bit.
Yeah, yes.
Kicked a couple of goals in a row and got excited for 3 minutes.
Yep.
Fair play to Adelaide. I think they're a good side.
They are.
I'm not going to take away from that and just.
This is not about them. They're a better team than us.
They would be worried that they conceded 100 points. I don't think that's ideal for a club, but other than that, fuck me, they were pretty bloody good, pretty polished.
But I think that their style of football is that a bit like when they played in that grand final, however many years ago before the bad camp, was that they were the leading offensive team by a mile that year. Like they had guys that were scoring all over the place, and that was I think that's their theory again. We'll just outscore them. Like, don't worry too much about defense. We'll just outscore them, and that's not going to work.
We know you have to worry about defense.
But I don't think they're going to win the premiership this year. But that is a good starting point. If you're a supporter, I'm happier to watch that.
10-goal win at the MCG. You've got to be able to win at the G. Like
160 points scored. Thank you. Take that.
goals.
Walk away. So that's a starting point. They can work on defence and get a bit tighter. But yeah, they're not winning the flag this year, but they're certainly in the hunt.
Now you've got a point here. A question: when do we play the kids? And my very simple response to that is we already are.
Well, I'm talking more the next group, like because my point on that is that I worry. I think Dylan Shield's an example of someone. I just don't see the point in him anymore. There's no upside. Gresham's a shelfish little shit. There was one moment in I think it was the second quarter or something like that. We were running forward. He got the ball, and I think it was Kako and Merritt were both out. And he just had a ping, and I went, "You little motherfucker!" Like that. If that's your attitude, you can right off because this is not what the club needs. Team players as much as anything. And so,
from a team standpoint, and it shouldn't be the be all and end all, but the crowd is up and about when Kako gets near the footy. So if you've got an option to give him a goal and get everyone a bit out of their seats, take it. I'm also on the fence a little bit in that we constantly complain that they overpossess the ball in forward 50, and I would just sometimes like players to just take the shot, but very different circumstances, I admit.
He was a long way, and there were open players. I don't mind if you take the shot when no one's open. That's a different conversation. But if you've got a guy who's 20 metres out from the goal square by himself, you kick it to him.
Yep. He's frustrating the shit out of me, Gresham, because I couldn't stand him in the preseason. He came on last week, and I went, well, maybe he's okay. And now I'm like,
no, I was right the first time.
Can take the boy out of St Kilda.
The other one was Jones. So, look, he's played some good footy last year, but he looked so slow in a couple of those moments. There was one moment where he got tackled, and he had time to get rid of the ball, and he just didn't. It was embarrassing.
And this is the point you make about system. Clearly, we're sticking with that. Clearly, there's a plan. Because if you were going to look at it as player for player, you wouldn't have replaced Langford with Edwards.
Exactly. I would have sent Jones forward.
Jones forward, replace the winger, put Chuck Martin there, whatever.
Yep.
And then you've kind of fixed that gap with a player who's got 50 games under his belt as opposed to Edwards, with all due respect, who's playing his first game. We're excited to see the first game. Yeah, yep. I'm with you. That's my point. Clearly we're trying something there. We are fans of it generally.
No.
but you're right. He, yesterday, and I don't blame Harry for this, he obviously just didn't see him, but it sums up our day. First quarter, he's got the ball half forward on like the Shane Warne stand wing, or, half forward. Caddy's defender falls over. Caddy's leading at him, doing the hit me. He's got 20 metres of space around him, and just didn't see him.
Yeah,
and he bombed it long and on there. I'm like, fuck's sake. You look in Adelaide how they went inside 50. Yep. Beautiful kicks out in front. It's such a simple thing.
and that was the thing that was so obvious in the Adelaide game. Like, their forwards led up the ground, one-on-one, out in front of the defender, and got the ball kicked to them in front of them.
But even inside 50...
And if it didn't, it created a contest anyway.
We'd have a defender on their ass, but the kick was so perfect... And I just go...
Partly because there was no pressure on the midfielders, but...
95% of our inside 50s are bombs.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable, ever.
No, this is the thing. I think it's all system. I honestly... I don't think a list is unreal, but I reckon if you went and told that list to play the Hawthorn way or I don't know, another sort of mid-team, Gold Coast way or something like that, I reckon we'd probably be all right. But the problem is that like you look at last week's stats. Stats showed we got more clearances and we got more inside 50s. But it's the way we kick the ball inside 50, and it's what we do. I still think that we will get it inside 50 and we'll hold it in.
But we don't.
We don't. We're not doing that. So come up with another plan, you dickheads. Have two plans. When one's not working, go plan B.
Have two. Have three. Have four.
Have seven.
Yeah. I think of a guy like Caddy, and it just must be so frustrating.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe the downside of having Draper down there, is the temptation is just to bomb it on his head because he's taller. He's tall.
But
it's just, you're not going to... I mean, we kicked 15 goals. We kicked 100 points. Fair enough. It kind of low-key worked. But when you look at how... And Hawthorn last week, how they enter inside 50 and the ability, even if it's not actually a mark, just to kick to their forwards' advantage. So often we kick to the forwards' disadvantage as well. It drives me insane.
It does. Anyway, so...
It's very easy from the stands.
Back to the point about Jones. I really... do you think that in a premiership winning team, he's playing on a wing? I don't see that. I don't see that world. I see him either as a half forward, nice ranging up the ground, marking the ball half forward, or even I would have thrown him back. Like, why can't he go play as a defender?
Yeah.
Why is it that all these other clubs test out their tools forward and back and see what they do, whereas we put them on the wing? Like, everyone where we don't know where they should go to the wing. That seems to be a position I've never seen good players on before.
I mean, we saw it under Herd, just to go back to that slightly. When I was researching earlier, because you put in there about Collingwood, that highest score at the MCG that we've conceded, I was trying to find some other info around just scores we've conceded generally.
Yep.
It was disappointing because we conceded more against GWS at the end of 2023.
Oh, yes.
In 2014, we conceded 100 points once.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what Hurdy was doing? Hurley, hooker, forward, back, Carlisle, forward, back. Whatever needed to happen.
Yep, swapped around.
We just made it happen. And I'm going to say it was 2014. Carlisle kicked 8 one game against
remember
Collingwood.
that, yeah. Yep.
It's probably before Hooker went forward properly. Probably actually Hooker wasn't really involved in that. Hooker was a pretty permanent defence then. But it was Hurley. Hurley was up, back, up, back, up, back.
Yeah.
Hawthorn, now, Sicily.
Yeah.
Does it. It just creates options.
Yep.
For Christ's sake. Play them in their natural position first. But if you want to try something out, if you need a bit of a change in a game of football that's close and you need that extra 2%, see you later. Get down there.
But to me, Jones looks like a guy that could play as a half backman. Like when he as a winger, which is where they put him, he actually goes down and marks the ball usually well, reads the play, pretty good, and gets back and helps out. Why don't we just stick him down there and the thing that frustrates me is Martin could be a winger, Durham could be a winger.
Dersma's
a very good winger. There's plenty of other guys. Merritt can go there when he's, sort of not in the midfield. Hobbs could probably go on the wing.
Anyone.
There's so many, there's so many more, I think, better wingers than Harry Jones, then when I think Harry Jones will be much more useful as a tall forward or a tall defender doing
I
marking and kicking goal stuff.
I really like what you said there. And maybe this is a long-term plan. Build up his tank. Play him as a high half forward. If he's got that experience up the ground,
Yeah.
but predominantly, like, you're a forward who plays high, not a winger. I just want to sidestep there if there's nothing else to...
Yeah, no, that's all good.
Just a little bit of appreciation for Dersma.
Yeah.
He is probably the hardest defensive running midfielder that we have. He gets into that defensive 50 and bails us out multiple times a game.
Yep.
And in a team, Merritt's probably accepted from this.
Yep.
We just don't have a lot of two-way runners. And
No.
Xavier, you do get back. I appreciate a bloke who works hard, even if you don't set the world on fire.
Yeah. He does some good things.
He's a young man. He'll get better still. But he just gets in the right spots, and I do love...
It's a good point, one. The two-way running.
Yeah.
I just don't
I think we have
that.
more of it now than we have in the past.
Yeah, but on a game like the weekend, you look at it and go, we just didn't see it. Like
We just didn't
you
run enough.
mentioned earlier that we looked cooked early.
Yeah.
And we looked really cooked in that last quarter. Like, I think it was, again, Jones who did something, and he just looked so laconic, like he was just exhausted. I'm like, oh. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand how everything...
When everyone else is looking fitter than you, there's something's gone on.
I still worry the fact that I don't feel like... I feel like the players that we've brought in, a few of those guys from the last few years, like Perkins and Hobbs and, guys like Sardis and that, I don't think they're going to be great football players. They might be just average football players. But for high round draft picks that they all are, I just feel like we've cooked it. And the only thing that I'm holding strong on this is that Kako and Caddy look like Kako looks like a superstar. Caddy looks like he's going to be a very good player. I reckon he's been playing injured the last couple of weeks. I reckon he got an injury in that first game and he carried it through to this game. That's why he was subbed out.
They took it off, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that maybe we're getting better, but really, and this goes to one of my earlier questions, is should we just be tanking? Like, should we seriously trying to fall to the bottom 2 or 3, getting a good, like we'll have 2 picks. We might be able to steal in the first round. If not, we'll have a second or third player. Get some quality players into the club and start making really hard decisions about guys like Parrish and, these middle of the road, not going anywhere, but can we get a draft pick out of them? Because...
Well, 2 things. One, I don't think we need to tank. I think we're going to be there anyway, right, at this point in time.
That's a fair point.
I don't think there'll be any
Don't
real
need to
thought
try and
behind
lose.
it. So these guys that sit behind me, Brian and Dan, they've sat behind me for 16 years, so we get along really well. Dan's a chatterbox, so we chat quite a bit as the game's going on. I'm sure it drives everyone around us nuts. But 3/4 time yesterday, I was just, I was pretty flat the whole day, really. We didn't really start well or anything to get excited about. No. Even we did kick the first goal, Draper told us to shut the fuck up. So... Anyway, if I remove all sentiment, all emotional attachment to the club, the players,
very hard.
It is very hard. I look at Zach Merritt and go, I don't want you to retire as the captain of the Essendon Football Club, i.e. Dyson Heppel, without a single iota of success under your belt.
Is looking like it's going to happen.
Quite probable.
We're 2-3 years away from winning something.
We've got to... Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want him going to a rival, a Hawthorn or Carlton, of course not. But again, it would break my heart. But
he'd win a premiership.
He's worth 2 first-round draft picks to the right club.
Yep.
Age is probably the only thing that prevents a really massive deal, but... I would love to see him get some success because that man works harder than anyone else in that football club.
I agree.
And I just wonder if in the long term that is better for us. Again, would break my heart. Don't hate me. I love the man.
No, I understand. I actually, I'll be honest, I thought the same thing last night or late yesterday afternoon going, how deep would we go? Like, and is Merritt on the table? Because he will walk away from this club without success. And I feel very sorry for him, for a guy who will win 6 or 7 best and fairest and never ever probably win a final.
I want to cry just thinking about him leaving. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I don't want that to happen.
But do I want I want success for him because he deserves success.
We have that respect of like, holy fuck, you are so much better than what we're offering you right now.
It's a relationship thing when you're saying I'm
holding you back. Like,
yeah, I'm holding you back. It's not you, it's
just
me.
Just go and do better things without us. I mean, look, ideal scenario, it would be an interstate club. It would be interstate, and I don't have to stress about coming up against him at fucking Carlton or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, that's right.
There's that side of it, but then there is the fact that, if we can get those draft picks, what we were talking about, I'm not sure if we talked about it on the pod, but you and I have talked about Harley Reid at length.
Yeah.
It would kind of win-win because we would be able to make that trade potentially, but then still remain in the draft.
Yep. That would be something, because when we talked about draft picks, I said I don't want to give up draft picks for Harley Reid.
It's dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. What you're implying there is if we had two spares that all of a sudden appeared.
Yeah, that's right.
Then that's a different. And look, Zach Merritt is 30-ish. So really,
I don't know what he's worth. It's very hard.
Say things turn around and we maybe finish 10th this year. Say that's the turnaround. I still think that's a massive turnaround at the moment. Would we win a final next year? The year after that?
Okay, so
maybe?
He's 30 at the end of this season.
Yeah, okay. So he should play until he's 33, 34.
I think he might have a bit more longevity, but you never know with injuries and stuff.
Well, he has been pretty good at avoiding that sort of shit, yeah.
The question we need to ask ourselves in that scenario is, will we win a premiership in the next 4 years? No.
No.
So
not unless something drastic, like
the only thing that prevents me is I don't know if you're ripping the heart and soul out of a football club doing that.
Yeah, that's right.
He is Essendon, like he's the team, and I don't think they
could ever do it. But
no, I don't either. But
I respect the conversation.
Just go, Zach.
Yeah. Go somewhere, mate. Have success.
Be in a very good team.
Hold the cup up.
Yeah, it would make my heart. I would feel so conflicted.
Come back and show it to the guys at the club and see what it looks like.
This is where hard work gets you.
Yeah, this is what happens if you got skill and effort, like I do.
I think we're feeling a bit pessimistic, which is probably driving a lot of these conversations. But I want to highlight one more thing before we go into next week and the VFL.
Yep.
And that is just Jackson Pryor. Jack's on, Jack's fuck off. Like, bro is awful.
You've been practicing that. That was very good.
Thank you. Well, I had Jack's on, Jack's off last week, but Jack's off sounds a bit funky in isolation.
It does sound like you're masturbating.
Yes. Gotcha. So, 17 disposals at 52%. I gave him a bit of a pass. I wasn't happy last week, but I was like, all right, first game, fine. No, sorry, you stink, mate. You are not good enough to play AFL football.
He's
period.
Not. He's kicking, he's handball. I don't know if you saw one handball. He nearly missed the ball.
Yep.
Like he went to handball to one of our players, and it like he just clipped it, and it went that way. But I went, you can't even handball properly, buddy.
Give me Angus Clark, honestly.
Oh.
Give me Newen. I googled how to say his name, and I've fucking forgotten it again. Like,
Give me anyone in the VFL that can play.
Don't care.
Sard. Sard can play.
Yes, beautiful. Yes, forgot him. He's the most obvious one.
Yeah.
Breathe. It's okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that he's one of those ones. Look, we took a risk, cost us nothing, not a problem. Get back to the VFL. You can play your year out there.
Yeah. No issues for sure.
No.
But just not good enough. So
no, I see what Brisbane didn't give him a lot of time.
See you later. Let's do some votes. Unfortunately, our listener hasn't responded just yet, so I'll update that if and when. I did kind of stuff up yesterday. I did the post late, and then I don't know whose comment was actually before the bounce, so forgive me if I got it wrong. But
that's okay, Sam.
Andy said Adelaide by 23, which from what I can see prior to the bounce was closest. So you and I have gone very different for 2 and 3. One's obvious.
One's pretty clear. I don't think that was. I wanted to just do Merritt's left foot, Merritt's right foot,
Merritt's cock. Sorry,
Merritt's sternum. Like every part of him is better than the rest of the players.
His right nut, his left nut.
Why can't the other guys just say, "What do you do, Zach?" and "How do I do it?"
This drives me nuts. All right, so we both given Merritt 3.
Yep.
I gave Kako 2.
Yeah.
I do just enjoy that he's just in the right spaces, and he kicked that lovely goal, beating off 3 of them. It wasn't a teammate.
Beating off 3 of them?
Fending off 3 of them. It wasn't a teammate in the shot just about, and he's just dobbed it. He can beat him off if he wants. It's up to him.
Please.
Who did you give to? Because I'm going to rethink my one.
Yeah, because you want to steal mine now, don't you? I gave 2 to Colbell. Look, he's still he had his 20-odd touches. He's tackling. He's doing all the things that you want him to do. Again, I found fascinating, we talked about this, that he was our number 1 CBA guy first week, but he got kicked back a couple of pegs the second week.
And was very good last week too.
Yeah, I'm like, what did he do wrong in the first week? Did he get moved back out of the CBAs? I don't understand. But anyway, I thought like he was very good. And I gave 1 vote to Roberts. As we talk about Archie, I like the way he goes about it. There needs to be a couple of more guys could have a word to him about how do I be angry? How do I get a little bit of that nastiness like you've got, mate? Because I'm just rolling around. Like, the problem I have with Ben Mackay is he's just a soft.
He's a nice guy, isn't he?
He's a really nice guy. Great mark, guys. Great mark in front of me. You're so good at marking the ball.
He took a contested mark early on too, and I was like, oh, maybe it's his week. No, it wasn't.
No.
I'm going to copy you, I am, because I think you make a very, very, very valid point. And I'm going to give that 1 vote to Archie Roberts.
Fair enough.
Maybe my expectations for Caldwell are a bit high. I'm taking
fair enough.
Not giving him a vote, but
I couldn't give it a cack. He only had like 9 touches and 2 goals.
I
would have given it to Draper at halftime. Look, if you'd said Draper was going to kick 3, Edwards was going to kick 3, you know.
We win by 3 or 4 goals. Yeah.
Merritt was going to kick 4. I would have thought, we're in this game.
We're in for a day, yeah.
But then you wouldn't have said that they'll kick 17 from their smalls.
Yeah.
Well, the most damning statistic, and I think this should be somewhere everywhere, 109 points from turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, you like how I wrote it. It's got 1 word in there that we don't say on the podcast. 109 fucking turnovers. Oh, wow.
That is, everyone, when you're listening, that is your take-home message. 109 points from turnover. That is what's called a shit fucking football team.
A shellacking. Look, Andy hasn't given the votes yet, as I said. I'll say he gives 3 to Merritt, and then we'll wait for the other 2. And if he doesn't, Andy, surprise me.
We'll just copy ours.
Right, next week. As if one Adelaide team wasn't enough, we'd play the other. Port Adelaide. Thursday night at Marvel Stadium. I will not be there because Thursday night is just ever so inconvenient if you have any sort of life, child, work, anything really.
Yep. Gets
the good numbers on the telly though, so we'll keep with it. I've written down some suggested changes there. I thought you might do the same. I'm going to throw to you for that, so just be prepared.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, I wrote this earlier today.
Yep, that's fine.
With a pessimistic mindset.
I'll do mine first then?
Oh, if you like, yeah.
Yeah, well, the clear one is Ridley's back in. Obviously, concussion pass. I assume, yeah. So that's a Pryor straight out, straight in. That to me, and they better do that. Like, that better be just the straightforward boom Ridley for Pryor. That is an upgrade. Menzies, no. I dropped Shield for, as I said, anyone in the VFL, probably Hayes, because I don't know how it works, but I know we just talked about how their smalls kick 57, and Port Adelaide have some of the best smalls too coming in against them. Their smalls will kick another 10 or 12 against us, so Hayes is probably the wrong choice, but he needs to play senior footy, and I don't care. As I said, send Reed forward. Like, who cares? Like, why can't Reed just go play as a forward? I don't know. Can't Mackay go play forward? His brother's pretty shit at it, so why can't he be shit at it too? I just think I'm like, Sard needs to come into the team. Like, these kids that are playing in the VFL, I just want to see them now. Get rid of fucking half the team. Start again.
I've just changed mine slightly because you made some good points that I forgot about, i.e. Ridley.
In my rant.
Yeah.
Really?
No, it's good, thank you. So I've gone harsh, I'll be honest.
You have gone harsh. I've noticed this.
Out. Zach Reed, Nick Bryan, Jackson Pryor, Jack's off, and Menzie. In Hayes. Give the man a go, for Christ's sake. He's good, right? He looked pretty strong. He looked pretty big-bodied in those preseason games.
Let him play.
In Gerine. Now, I have a logic here, and this also ties into dropping Brian. 1, Brian looked knackered.
He did ruck a lot.
2, Gerrines kicked 3 in the VFL.
Yeah.
So, upgrades, Draper, Ruckman.
Draper goes from full-time ruck?
Forward.
Yeah, okay.
Gerrines the forward ruck, Draper's the rucky ruck.
Rucky ruck.
Buck and ruck. Hang on.
I think one of the issues... Sorry.
No, go.
Yeah. Well, one of the issues there was that I noticed that when Bryant went off and Draper came to the ruck, that Bryant didn't go forward, so it made our forward line even more piss weak.
Even smaller, yeah.
Whereas, when Bryant
half.
was rucking, Draper stayed forward. So that was really interesting. I thought, well, why doesn't Bryant go forward? Why can't we send him... Anyway, go...
Okay. I'm looking at there, like, Draper's the upgrade on Brian in the ruck, and then Gerrines an upgrade, potentially he's a kid, who knows, on Draper as a forward.
Yes.
In Ridley for Pryor, happy with that, and then Menzies for Sard. So you're kind of replacing Sard for Pryor, getting the extra tall in there.
And Sard could be a good sub. Like, he could be someone who could come on in his first game, just start as the sub, and then we know he can play back, we know he can play forward, he's done both, but...
He can play on a wing, Harry.
He can play on a wing, and put Jones somewhere else, who cares?
I realise
Yeah.
None of them will happen. Ridley will come in.
Ridley will come in at the price of, you'd think it'd have to be nearly Pryor, wouldn't it?
Probably. I would love to see Hayes in. I get with Reed and Mackay, it's too tall, and Ridley, it's too tall.
Yep.
But just give me something. Let the kid play. Otherwise, he's gone because he's good enough. He's good enough to be playing AFL.
Well, he will. The other clubs will start to look at him soon and go, "Do you want to come play for us?" If he doesn't start to play at some stage this year,
like Richmond, will be going, "Hey, bro, like,
come play for us, mate. We'll offer you a
in
nice
5
contract.
or 6 years. Guess what?
You're probably all Australian.
It'd be a pretty fucking good team." VFL, Essendon 14-10-94 defeat the 2024 semi-finalists Williamstown 12-11-83 after trailing by 14 points at three-quarter time. Unfortunately, it was on at the same time as the AFL, which I'll never understand.
Is it on KO? Can I watch it? No.
The AFL website streams them.
But can I watch a replay?
I believe so. I did see it on Twitter. Young Jade shared it.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
There's a lot of people watching that replay last night instead of...
Yeah, I watched that new... I watched that Venom movie, which was absolutely shit.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Jesus
I
Christ.
spent the last few nights rewatching the Final Destination movies.
What are they?
The original one came out in like 99, 2000.
Is that like the game?
No. Final Destination. So the first one's around a plane crash where this guy has a premonition. They get off the plane and then they all die in order that they should have died because death has a design.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite... I was scared the shit out of me as
good.
a child. As an adult, it's hilariously bad, but... There's a scene...
Venom's just bad.
There's a scene in... Sorry, one more thing. Where they're doing like... in the morgue, and there's a dead dude on the table, and you can see his eyes are like moving. He's meant to be dead. Yeah. Yeah, complete fuck up. Anyway. As we said earlier, clear bog in Hayes, 27 touches, 16 marks, with a little surprised face. Gerime, 12 touches, kicked 3 goals, 1. Hence the earlier conversation. Archday Wicks, 11 touches and a goal. Zach Johnson, 19 touches. Angus Clark, 18 touches. Nguyen is 17 touches. It's a Vietnamese name, and it's the best pronunciation I've got.
No, that's fine. Well, you know how shit I am.
Yeah, I do. So, solid contributions from the AFL guys. There's a guy, Haitley, who is our best like every week. I can't understand.
He's ex-Adelaide and then ex-GWS, was he, or something like that, Haitley?
I can't understand that no one's sort of gotten him on a list yet. But anyway, he's good every single week.
He's got some issues, I think. Well, I think he's obviously got some inabilities that haven't made it in AFL level because he's been at 2 AFL clubs and been kicked out. Well, not kicked out, but, delisted from them.
Way to use your logic, yeah. Anyway, finally, Port Adelaide. Are we any hope? Do we just rock up and hope that we see some better football? I would like to be in the game at quarter time. Like that's how low the levels are for me right now. Let's not concede 6 or 7 goals in the first quarter. Don't have to be in front. Just maybe 3 goals to 1. Just, okay, well, we're in it. Oh, God, we're mediocre, aren't we?
Well, look, so they've come off a 70-odd point victory over Richmond, who I'm thinking we might not beat at the moment. I'm sure that's not true, but that game was they were out by a fair bit at one stage. Like,
It was very one-sided from the get-go.
yeah, that was getting towards 100 points sort of beating, but Richmond, I think, came home a bit in the last quarter, or the last part of it. So they're a good team. I still was surprised by their first week result. Second week result looks a bit more like what they are. I think they're somewhere in between the two. I think they're better than us.
Oh, clearly better than us, yeah.
They've got some really talented players, and they've got some really talented players out.
I'm not confident against anyone right now.
No. I mean, St Kilda beat Geelong, I see. And I'm like, I thought we were going to beat them, but now we're not.
Yeah.
It was great to see Geelong lose because I hate them, but, I was like, oh, God, St Kilda are...
Jeez, they nearly fucked it, though, St Kilda, didn't they?
They did.
Woohoo! If Geelong kick straight, holy shit.
But I go, does that mean we're the bottom? So it's West Coast, Richmond, possibly us? Is that the sort of is that the order at the moment? Am I thinking? Anyway, no, we do not stand a chance against Port Adelaide. They probably should touch us by about 40 plus points.
40 plus, righto. I'm going to be semi-optimistic and just say Port Adelaide by about 4 goals.
Bet you'll be semi.
If we win, it might be. Jackson. No.
I'll tell you what, I'll be more excited about the ins and outs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll get them a day early this week too. We'll get them on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, we're Thursday. Yeah, that's
Bet the AFL's regretting that one.
Yeah, but they thought it'd be a bit closer. Yeah. But because that's the interesting thing I think about how the club reacts to that sort of like a performance is that they go, nah, everything's fine.
We've never seen wholesale changes, though.
No, we never do.
Dude, like
Scott
Truck
doesn't do that.
Worsfold, Scott
doesn't do it.
Even like,
yeah, but Scott definitely doesn't do it. He's like, nah, these are my guys. I'm backing him in. We saw that with Kelly. He just didn't ever leave the team, no matter what he did,
fair.
Until he decided just to leave the whole competition. It's the only way we could get him out of the team.
He definitely had pictures or something.
Yep.
All right, Wrap it up there. Supercoach starts next week for the Don Pod League, so it'll be interesting at least. You're pretty comfortable. I'm playing you this week in our draft. You're pretty cozy. I am filthy, just quickly, that you get Rowan Marshall's score.
How? No, I don't think I do.
You do. It's in your list. It's an auto emergency. The emergencies don't just cover that position. They cover any position.
Oh, really?
It looks like it.
Well, that seems wrong, because I assumed I was getting...
factoring him in.
I bet you what's going to happen there is it's thinking that he's going to be an emergency, but it'll switch to Levi after he plays. I bet you it will. Because it'll go, no, we're taking the midfielders, not the ruckmans.
They take the lowest score, I think.
Oh, that's yucky. I don't like that.
So I've traded in a playing player on my bench now because of that.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Anyway, no one cares about that. Sorry.
No, sorry.
We can have that conversation later.
I'll tell you what, I'm pretty disappointed by I should have picked him over Draper.
Drapes would have gone all right, though, wouldn't he?
No, he had like 70 or something.
Yeah, okay.
That's what he had about at half time.
Unlucky. I put a little risky one at Rankin captain, which he was looking pretty good, and then the frigging little fucker got subbed off.
He was on 90-something at 3/4. He would have gone on for a 130 plus
and he
easily.
Got subbed off, the prick. Kick goal of the year and then racked off.
Yep.
Anyway,
but you did get Rosie.
Rosie was fine. Rosie got 130.
So you outscored my captain on Dacos.
Only just. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your company as always. If you're listening to us, look,
we're sorry.
We're sorry. Hopefully you found some solace. We call this our therapy, so hopefully it helps you just from a football.
It does, yeah.
And I'm not going to say go Dons this week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Go Bombers.
You prick.